Hello, everyone. My name is Matt Kerns. I have Ben Pieczynski alongside of me. This is the Pieczynski and Matt Kerns Show.
All right, so what we got first off, Matt?
Let's start with the AL wildcard game between the Astros and the Yankees tonight in the Bronx. This is the first postseason game for the Astros since 2005 and the Yankees since 2012.
All right, so I believe that matchup is it is Kuchel and Tonka.
Yeah, it is, and I think the Yankees are going to get this one done tonight just because they are at home. Although I wouldn't be surprised if the Astros pull this off. I just don't think they have the offense for it.
Yeah, I'm going to say Yankees too, mainly because when you look at the Astros, their starting rotation is pretty much their biggest strength, and their offense, it's good, but it's young. They're not very experienced compared to New York. They're a team that just rose up this year and managed to pull off a way to make it.
Absolutely, I agree with you there. And don't get me wrong, if Keuchel outpitches Tanaka and if he can go 7 innings deep and maybe allow 1 or 2 runs, I think the Astros have a good chance. But I just think the Yankees are going to jump on top of Keuchel early on and multiple times throughout the game.
I think if this was at home, it'd be a completely different story. What's Keuchel's record at home, like 17-0, something crazy?
Yeah, he's undefeated at home. And the Astros in general are a much better team at home than they are on the road. I know on the road they have a losing percentage. And, like I said, I think this is, and as you mentioned, this is a Yankees team with more experience. But hey, it would be a feel-good story if the Astros can somehow pull this one off.
Yeah, definitely there. And moving on to the next wild card game, I believe that's Wednesday or Thursday. Do you know?
Wednesday, yes.
Wednesday, yes. We have the Cubs at Pirates. We have a pretty good matchup there with Arrieta and Cole.
Yeah, you know what? Both of these guys, I don't think Cole's a front runner for Cy Young, but I think Arrieta is. But certainly Cole has had himself a solid season. I think the Cubs get this done. I like the Cubs to win the World Series. The lineup from Fowler, Bryant, Rizzo, Starling Castro, these guys have, not only clubhouse chemistry, but they're also producing. I think Chris Bryant will probably win Rookie of the Year. And I think as far as the Pirates go, McCutchen and Starling Marte is about all they got. I know they have other players, but that's definitely where their power comes from right there.
I'm going to go with the Cubs here, too. When you look at it, their team, what have they? They've won 7-8 straight going in. I forget the exact number. I know they beat the Brewers last game of the year, and they had been on a winning streak. And then you have the Pirates. Pirates have kind of been slumping a little lately. When you look at them, other than winning yesterday, I'm going to go with the Cubs just because Arrieta. I think he's a clear-cut Cy Young. This where maybe like in the National League. I say Serzer's probably got an outside chance at it because of the 2 no-hitters he's thrown this year.
No-hitters, yeah. Yeah, Arrieta is 22-6 on the year with a 1.77 ERA. I think it'll definitely be between him and Greinke. I think Greinke has it's tough to say. Greinke pitched a little bit better early on, but certainly Arrieta, since the All-Star break, I believe he has a .86 ERA since the break, and that's really, really impressive. And I think they'll get the job done tonight, despite playing at PNC Park in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on, I believe our next topic is the World Series prediction. Just an early one for this week. Who do you got in the Fall Classic?
As I mentioned earlier, I think the Cubs are going to get there, and in the American League, I like the Blue Jays. I think the big three between Price, Dickey, and Mark Burley will get them there, and obviously we know about the offense. I think the big question is, will Troy Tulowitzki stay healthy? But if not, they still have plenty of power between Josh Donaldson, Edwin Encarnacion, and, this is the best offensive team in the league, but do they have the pitching? And certainly acquiring Price at the deadline gave him that boost, and we'll see if he can push them through these playoffs. I think the Royals is their biggest contender, and I don't think the Royals have the pitching to get through either.
I'm actually going to go different. I do have the Cubs in the World Series, and I also have the Royals in the World Series. I believe the Royals will be able to get there. The way I look at it, their offense I'd say their defense is spectacular. You look at that outfield. You have Lorenzo Cain as, I know what's his name was hurt for a while. The left fielder, Gordon.
Alex Gordon.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got hurt on a brutal injury earlier in the year.
Is he back or? I haven't been following that.
Let's see. Definitely Lorenzo Cain is one of the better center fielders in the game, and he has great range. And I do like the offense. I agree with you there. I just ultimately, I don't know if they have the pitching. I like Johnny Cueto, but he struggled since the Royals have acquired him. But he did pitch a solid outing his last outing, and maybe he can pull this team through the playoffs.
I just see the Royals coming in there because you look at the Giants, the run they pulled off, I see a similar run going here just because of that disappointment. You know, they have the experience. When you look at all the other American League playoff teams this year, you see teams like, it's pretty well shifted, I'd say. There's not a lot of postseason experienced teams in there this year.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of new, and I mean, including the Mets, the Cubs, the Astros. I mean, this is the Royals' second time in as many years, but they hadn't made it since the mid-'80s prior to last year. And by the way, Alex Gordon is returning. He actually has returned earlier in the year, but the Royals have actually had a losing record since his return, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, they had a little tough stretch down in the end, but I think they picked it up a little right as the season came to a close. So, in the World Series, I've got Cubs in 6 over the Royals. What do you have?
I have Blue Jays in 7.
Blue Jays in 7.
Yeah.
All right, so that covers that topic. Moving on to last night's Monday Night Football game. Your reaction?
Well, it was quite the game. I really like these defensive battles, and that's what it was for the first 55 minutes, similar to the Sunday night game. Seattle, you know, there was definitely a little bit of luck involved there. If the officials review that play, even though it was unreviewable, and they put it back at the 1-yard line, you could make an argument Detroit wins that game because they're probably going to score. Now, Russell Wilson still did have time to drive down the field and give them a last-second field goal or a touchdown, but the Lions kind of got screwed last night.
Yeah, and they've found unbelievable ways to lose games these past 4 weeks. You know, coming back versus Denver last week, just narrowly losing that one. Then you had blowing the big lead against the Chargers week 1. Week 2, I believe they lost a close one to the Vikings, but this week it's got to hurt for Viking fans. Especially when you look at it, it's just the play as like ref. You're going to miss plays, but that one was huge. The guy didn't need to bat it out of the end zone. He did. It's against the rules, but when you look at it, it takes away a great play by Chancellor.
Yeah, Chancellor made a hell of a play on the football. Calvin Johnson had no anticipation of Chancellor coming behind him and smacking the ball out of there. You know, and KJ Wright knocks it, instead of grabbing it and goes down, he knocks it to the back of the end zone. And yeah, they got lucky. The officials didn't rule it to the correct ruling on the play.
Yeah, you know, that's one of the rules you would expect an official to make. Officials don't have every rule on the top of their head. It's just, they're human, they're going to make mistakes. But I say it's not as bad as the Fail Mary a couple years ago.
Yeah,
you know, that one,
I don't think it's as bad either.
When you look at it, like, they did have the replacement refs, but the NFL, the replay refs for the NFL were still there. And
yeah.
And they should have overturned that. Yeah, what's his name? Tate touched it first, but if you're gonna rule like a pinky or a finger over like pretty much complete
full possession.
And I know Sports Science did a thing on that too, and they really proved that there. But yeah, tough loss for Lions fans, and once again Seattle finds himself with a lucky win on Monday night.
Yeah, hey, but give credit to that defense. I thought Seattle's offense struggled, but their defense certainly picked up the slack for them. Multiple times, Russell Wilson turned the ball over, and that Seattle defense was able to get a few stops. I think Kerry Williams is playing at an elite level right now, opposite of Richard Sherman. I think he's doing good things over there in Seattle, replacing Byron Maxwell, who left in free agency.
Yeah, definitely. That was one of the standout performances of last night.